We have Jerry Reynolds with the Car Show Pro joining us today. And, it's always great to get a good update. We're starting a brand new month. How did the car industry fare for September? We've had a lot going against it, like the chip shortages, I know, and still just not enough cars on lots.
Yeah, it was a rough one for the auto industry. I think when all the smoke clears, it'll be down probably 25% from last September. But we have to look back at last September. We were coming out of COVID from the automaker standpoint. They had been closed down March of 2020 for several months, and then cars started coming in again in September. So last September was really a good month. So this year, with the shortages, to be down 25%, I think everybody's pretty pleased with that.
And this is usually the time of year where people start looking for next year's models, and the 2021s start going on to discounts. Are we seeing that at all this year?
No, we're not seeing any discounts at all. And I tell my listeners on your station, right now, if you can get a popular car at MSRP, you're doing really well, because a lot of dealers are charging way over. Demand is high. Auction prices on used cars through the roof. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, we're seeing 2 and 3 year old vehicles that are bringing at a dealer auction more than they sold for at MSRP 2 and 3 years ago. It's the market is really upside down right now.
It's kind of like the housing market. It's like if you want to sell, you can really, increase the charge there. But for trade-ins, are they still just going like hotcakes?
They are. And I tell people, even though new car prices are up, primarily because incentives are way down. There's not a lot of rebates out there right now. Not a lot of 0% financing. But your trade-in is worth so much more now than it was just 4 or 5 months ago. It still works out if you can find a car that you want to buy. And that's the problem.
What about leasing at this point? Is that even worse?
The lack of incentives, David, is rough right now because so many automakers incentivize leases. They want you to lease. You get back into the market quicker. So they like that. But right now, especially the segment leader, Toyota, they've got no lease specials. Leases are still okay, but it's nothing like they were, earlier this year.
We heard some news about Ford trying to create a plant, getting some money to roll in here to Texas with all the electric vehicles that they have to produce for some of these contracts that they've already signed with buyers. The electric car front, we know it's the future, but is it just getting further and further away with all of these delays?
Well, it could well be. Electric cars use more microchips than regular cars do. It's just a fact. And with this shortage that we're in right now and the lack of supply on those, it's probably going to delay things, but we're seeing delays in all new vehicle launches right now. I mean, things we thought we'd see last month in September for brand new vehicles, just they're not appearing. Toyota just had a huge intro of the new Toyota Tundra. Those things are not going to be, we're going to see a sprinkling of them in December. But those people who leased 3 years ago coming out of a lease, they're going to be in trouble finding another vehicle.
In the rental car market, earlier in the summer, rental car prices were just through the roof because of the shortage of cars. Is the rental market getting any better? The prices dropping at all?
The only thing that's helping the rental market right now is rent car companies are buying used cars. I've never seen that before. In 35 years in the auto industry, they're at the auctions. They're buying cars to rent, and they're buying used cars. Typically, the opposite scenario is there. There's a flood of new cars. They can buy as many as they want. Right now, they're buying used cars just to keep their doors open.
I always wonder, the state fair is going on right now. We've got one of my favorite parts of it is going to the car show. I mean, what are some of the exciting things to hopefully look forward to that, if you can get your hands on it for this next coming year that you really recommend?
Well, we're gonna see a lot more electrics probably next year. Not so much the rest of this year, but new vehicles coming out. It's so competitive right now between the trucks, and especially here in Texas. We got the new Tundra. Ford's coming out with an all-electric F-150. Chevrolet and GMC are coming out with new models. They just keep getting higher priced, but they keep selling. So, the state fair this year doesn't have as many cars as they have in the past. Some auto manufacturers are just not participating. They're holding back because of lack of inventory. In my case, I review a new car every week from a manufacturer. And right now, it's tough getting those cars as well. So with a tight market, you're not going to see as many new vehicles probably until second quarter next year, things we thought we'd see in the third quarter of this year.
Now, with all the issues that people are having trying to buy new cars, are they holding on to the cars they have for longer periods of time and just maintaining them?
Yeah, they are. And they're having to. They get out there. I'm encouraging people to order the car that they want. Most of the manufacturers are doing a really good job with orders. They're filling those orders before they're filling dealer inventory orders. But, we're coming up on that time of year where a lot of people rush in at the end of December to buy a car, usually for tax purposes. If they go in this year to buy a car at the end of December, there's not going to be anything out there. They need to act now. They need to order a car